be talking about fast fashion, its effects on the environment, and how it contributes to global warming. Did you know that while people bought 60% more garments in 2014 than they did in 2000, they only kept them for like half of as a long time? So they had to buy more and they threw them away, obviously. And then fashion and fast fashion, it may not seem like it not seem like a big issue, it just may seem like a minor one, but in reality, it's doing irreversible damage to our earth, and it's a huge contributor to global warming. And fast fashion is also toxic for the environment, and it also pollutes the ocean with microplastics. So first, we're gonna be talking about the effect on the environment, like the effects of fast fashion on the environment. First is that the fashion industry is responsible for 10% of humanity's carbon emissions, and that's the maritime shipping methods and all international flights combined. And also that carbon emissions plus greenhouse gases are very toxic for the air, and they're just really bad to breathe in. And also the equivalent of one garbage truck full of clothes is burned or dumped in the landfill every second. And plus the of all clothes recycled, of all clothes that are like donated, only 15% are reused, and the rest go to landfills, and they're just burned or just just lay there in the trash, just release more carbon emissions and bad stuff into the air. And also, most clothes are produced in China, India, or Bangladesh, countries that are essentially powered by coal, which is like the dirtiest type of energy, and it just releases a lot of toxic stuff into the air. And also, that massive global degradation of soil, oil grazing of pastures, use of chemicals to grow cotton, and the deforestation by rayon. And massive global, and then the soil is because they have to like farm so much to keep up with the demand of like whatever they need of cotton and all the raw materials, so they just keep on planting and planting, and they just don't like mix the soil. And then they use a lot of chemicals, and that's not good for like the farmers and their families, because they get like cancer, birth defects, and it really affects them. And also, like as I talked about how the most clothes are produced in China, India, Bangladesh, these are like essentially like poor countries. Like Bangladesh is like very poor. India and China are like majority of the people are poor there, even though they're really high in population. And like all the workers there are just like kids, young kids, and like women, and they all have like birth defects, and like from such a toxic environment. And that's like just like how the cycle works over there. So now that we've talked about the effects on the environment, I'm talking about the effects it has like on the water pollution. And then washing clothes releases about 500,000 tons of microfibers into the ocean each year, which is equivalent of to 50 billion plastic water bottles. Also, many of these fibers are polyester, which is in about 60% garments, and it is 2 to 3 times more toxic than cotton, and does not break down in the ocean. The fashion industry is the second largest consumer of water worldwide after farming and agriculture, but that makes sense because they use it to grow food. And the fashion industry is responsible for 20% of all industrial water pollution worldwide. And that's like all this water that's coming out of factories right here. You see how it's like just green, brown, like color water shouldn't be. And like water, it could just like stand still there and go into the ground, contaminate like underground water, fresh drinking water, and it could make it poisonous, and that could just like kill people. Also, it cause cancer and birth defects in a lot of people. And now that I've talked about now that I've talked about the water pollution and its effects on water, and we're talking about the brands like Forever 21, Zara, Gap, H&M. These are all brands, and like every time you like drive by or see one of these brands commercials online or something, you always see they have like a huge sale, and that's because they just do that because to sell. It's not like they actually have a sale. They make these clothes for so cheap, so they're able to sell them for cheap, and that's how they make their money. And now that I've talked about all those negative effects, I'll be talking about how we can work it and like a solution to fast fashion. That's the other side of this. It's a little janky. Alright. So solution is to like don't buy fast fashion like brands on like to thinking that you're just gonna donate them later, because being you're just buying clothes that are still toxic, and even if you do donate them, someone else is gonna wash them and do all that. And when you shop online, shop ethically online. buy less clothes with better materials. So even if you do buy less clothes, buy like better brands and better materials that aren't so bad for the environment. That are like eco-friendly, and wear clothes more than once before you wash them, because when you wash clothes, like I said, it releases a lot of bad stuff into the water. And also that wash your clothes inside out to increase wearability, so like the color doesn't fade away and like all that, so you can wear them still. And to buy clothes from sustainable brands, so it's pretty much like good brands where clothes just like don't shrink or like don't get small or really bad. And to participate in swap events, or to shop in thrift stores, charity stores, or vintage shops. So you can already buy like used clothes from other people, so you don't have to go to trash cans or landfills that clothes don't go there. And like good brands are like Patagonia, Salty Crew. There's also like J Crew, but they just went like bankrupt this morning or filed for bankruptcy. So those are all like very good brands that are like not fast fashion and pretty much like go against fast fashion. Even though they are like more on the expensive side, they are just better clothes and like better materials. So like my hat, Salty Crew hat. So yeah.